As California hits new record gas prices every day, lawmakers are looking for ways to ease the pain at the pump. But a partisan vote in the state assembly knocked out one recently attempted pause in the state's gas tax.
A bill to remove California's gas tax failed to pass the state assembly on Monday. In a party line vote of 40 to 18, Republican support was overwhelmed by Democratic votes against the bill. California currently has both the highest gas tax and highest gas price in the nation. According to AAA, from the start of this week, Californians are paying on average $5.75 per gallon. Republican Assemblyman James Gallagher of Yuba City wrote on Twitter, "Every Republican lawmaker voted to take 50 cents off the gallon of gas. Not a single Democrat Assembly member supported this effort to lower gas prices." Republican Assemblyman Kevin Kiley of Rockland introduced AB 1638 in January. The bill would have suspended the 50-cent gas tax for 6 months. Kiley previously said the bill was to give taxpayers a little bit of relief as the state budget is in a strong surplus. Despite the bill failing to pass, Governor Gavin Newsom said in his State of the State address that he is looking into gas price reductions as well. He said he planned to provide state residents with a rebate to help with high gas prices.
Border Patrol agents recently arrested a U.S. citizen at an immigration checkpoint. CBP said he tried to smuggle nearly $300,000 worth of illicit narcotics.
U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested a 28-year-old man suspected of smuggling over 60 pounds of methamphetamine and about 5 pounds of fentanyl near Salton City, California, according to an announcement on Monday. The unidentified man is a U.S. citizen. The drug bust occurred at the Highway 86 checkpoint at about 3:45 a.m. on March 11th. A K-9 team helped agents discover the narcotics, concealed in the floorboard area of a car during inspection. They were in 40 packages of meth and 7 packages of fentanyl pills. California Senator Melissa Melendez praised the efforts of Border Patrol agents to stop the illicit drugs from hitting the streets in California. She told the Epic Times that the amount of fentanyl seized is enough to kill almost 1.2 million people. Melendez accused President Joe Biden and Governor Gavin Newsom of failing to properly address drug trafficking at the southern border. Riverside County District Attorney Michael Hestron said the Border Patrol isn't receiving enough support from the federal government to deal with fentanyl trafficking. They're not getting the resources they need. It's coming in waves, and they can only do what they can do. And so I would say the federal government has to focus on this problem and come up with a plan to stop the flow of fentanyl from coming across the southern border. The suspect, the vehicle, and narcotics were turned over to the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Officials in San Diego released the body cam footage of an officer involved in the shooting from earlier this month. A woman was killed after charging at officers with a knife. Viewer discretion is advised for the following graphic footage.
Authorities in San Diego released body cam footage on March 11th from multiple officers of a shooting in Little Italy. A woman stabbed one officer in the chest, and police then fired upon her during a March 3rd altercation. The law enforcement personnel were in the process of evicting 47-year-old Yan Lee from her condominium. The altercation began as a sheriff's deputy attempted to serve Lee her eviction paperwork.
What is it?
Are you Yan Lee?
Yes.
Okay, here's a notice to evict.
She opened the door holding what appeared to be a meat cleaver. The deputy ordered her to drop the knife, but Lee began screaming at him, accusing him of impersonating law enforcement.
Put your knife down. Put the knife down. Put the knife down right now. Put the knife down right now.
How do I know you are an intruder?
The two began shouting at each other, then Lee threw the documents into the hallway and slammed the door.
Now.
I
am not a fake police officer. Drop the knife. Drop the.
While waiting, officers encountered a maintenance worker who said Lee threatened him with a knife the previous day. Deputies attempted to communicate for about 45 minutes, but Lee would not comply. The team entered her residence and found Lee peering out from a back room door. More arguing followed until one officer fired beanbags at her. Lee then charged the officers, leading to the shooting. She died on scene after being struck with gunfire. 3 San Diego County Sheriff's deputies and 1 San Diego police officer fired on her. The SDPD Canine Unit officer who was stabbed was released later that day from the hospital. He was not identified. SDPD Homicide are investigating the events surrounding Lee's death. The 4 officers involved in the shooting have all been temporarily placed on desk duty.
California may eventually allow Bitcoin to be used as a regular form of payment for day-to-day shopping. 2 bills introduced in February came ahead of President Biden's comments on cryptocurrency last week.
Digital currency may become an acceptable form of payment in the state. 2 recent bills would allow for Californians to use cryptocurrencies for payment as early as next year. Democratic Senator Sidney Kamlager from Los Angeles introduced a bill to authorize state agencies to accept crypto for government services. Republican Assemblyman Jordan Cunningham from San Luis Obispo introduced a bill to allow virtual currency to become an acceptable form of tender for goods and services. Ian Calderon, a consultant and former majority leader of the California State Assembly, said both bills will signal that California is open for business in the crypto market. But he said implementing cryptocurrency as legal tender faces legal ambiguity. It also lacks certainty for local cities. He said local pilot programs may be needed first. Calderon said, "There's nothing in California state law right now that says you can't do this, but there's also nothing that says you can." Currently, only Arizona is considering to use crypto as legal tender. The bills came ahead of a cryptocurrency-related executive order from President Joe Biden last Wednesday. He called for responsible development of digital assets. Dennis Porter, an Oregon-based political strategist and Bitcoin advocate, said the government should focus on user privacy, not government control. He said, "I'm hoping that our government will focus on building in privacy aspects, not using a tool to control when and where people can spend money, and I think Bitcoin is the ultimate way to do that." Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
Northern California health provider Sutter Health won a lawsuit filed against them last Friday. The suit claimed that they unfairly had Northern California recipients pay higher prices on insurance and hospital visits.
A federal jury rejected allegations last week that Sutter Health abused its market power. The verdict came from a month-long civil trial in a class action lawsuit against the Northern California health system. The suit was on behalf of over 3 million employers and people served through the Sacramento-based nonprofit. Plaintiffs alleged that the company caused almost $400 million in insurance premium overcharges between 2011 and 2017. They sought triple the damages as compensation, a total of $1.2 billion. The attorneys said Sutter had deals with major insurance companies to discourage patients from using lower-cost insurance and hospitals. Sutter successfully argued that it did not engage in such conduct and that its dealings with insurance companies were a volume discount. James Conforti, Sutter Health's interim president and CEO, said the verdict was important for California healthcare providers. In a statement, he wrote that providers still have the right to choose whether to participate in a health plan network, and patients won't get surprise bills. 2 years prior, the company settled similar claims that Sutter's practices led to Northern California residents paying premiums $3,000 more than residents in the south of the state. Sutter paid out $575 million at the time.
As employees return to the workplace in 2022, there are some new rules for some businesses on what to wear. You could call it an attire reset. But according to some fashion experts, that does not mean the look is anything like casual Fridays.
As people begin to return to the workplace, office fashion might be seeing some casual flair, at least according to some fashion stylists.
As we get back to work and back into the workplace, interacting with our coworkers, the key here for gentlemen is to remember that you have a lot of choices. And many of the employers, many of our large corporations are allowing us to be a little more casual, still keeping a professional image, but not having to wear a full suit, full dress shoes, and a full shirt and tie. So keep that in mind, mix and match the tops and bottoms, maybe wearing just the jacket alone with a separate pair of pants to keep the professionalism.
In Los Angeles, the workplace dress code rules are often more relaxed. But Michael Ferreira, a Hollywood fashion stylist, says that doesn't mean business casual Fridays with polos and chinos. Back-to-work fashion is different for each company, depending on their profession and how many people an employee will be interacting with.
Most importantly, when it comes to the no's for gentlemen, remember that you still need to wear a dress shoe. No sneakers, no sneakers, no sneakers. Now, you have to be mindful of your industry, but the key here is that your shoes will always elevate your image. Even when you're casual, when you're wearing a very nice shoe, it gives you a very nice professional image.
Since Los Angeles is a city that houses many movie and television studios, stores tend to cater towards movie and TV industry executives. Lori Carlton, owner of Magpie in Studio City, California, says the big trend today is mixing modern with authentic designer vintage.
There is a degree of creativity. It's something that they can wear truly probably daytime, into evening, into a casual weekend. People are traveling, so again, they're spending a little bit more money these days. Also, they're buying something that the quality is there.
However, work from home is still an option for some people. Hope Grossman, distributor of vintage clothing lines, says the question is how to handle Zoom now when your coworkers are in the office but you are not.
Some of it is, still Zooming. We're still Zooming. So what I think is nice to do is when you are on a Zoom call, it's important to sort of elevate your look and so you can be noticed a little bit more.
Grossman says vintage is popular right now because it is recyclable and cost-effective. Future Forum surveyed over 10,000 workers last year and found that 44% of executives wanted to return to the office, but only 17% of employees wanted to.